Pinewood Gardens is a suburban Ohio community, defined by its rigid homeowners association. Every aspect of property maintenance, from the precise 2.5-inch lawn height to the 3 approved mailbox colors, is governed by strict uniform rules. 3 years ago, Marcus Holloway, a 45-year-old electrician, moved into a corner lot house after his divorce was finalized. He brought his 2 teenage children, Emma and Tyler, hoping the neighborhood would provide a stable, safe environment for their new beginning. However, Marcus's fresh start was quickly complicated by Brenda Whitmore, a 52-year-old widow who had also moved in around the same time. Brenda had an unofficial but formidable role as the neighborhood's self-appointed compliance officer. Her influence was amplified by her close relationship with the HOA president, Gerald Thornfield, effectively making her untouchable. Brenda drove a pearl-white Escalade, a vehicle that was a constant presence on the community's quiet streets. The conflict ignited over a seemingly trivial issue: trash collection. Due to his corner lot's location, Marcus was required by city ordinance to place his trash can within 3 feet of the curb every Tuesday morning. This placement put the can directly in Brenda's path during her daily walk at exactly 6:15 a.m. The first incident, a shattered plastic trash can, was initially dismissed by Marcus as an accident. But the accident repeated itself 3 more times that week, always with the sound of plastic exploding against her Escalade. Marcus's elderly neighbor, Mrs. Olivia, confirmed his growing suspicions. Brenda was intentionally destroying the can, taking the long way around just to drive close to it. This daily drama, and the sight of their father cleaning up garbage in his pajamas, caused visible stress for Emma and Tyler, and Marcus's custody evaluator even began taking notes about the family's stability. Marcus realized he could no longer rely on simple reasoning. A more strategic and documented response was required. The dispute escalated significantly when Brenda shifted from property destruction to formal legal action. A certified letter arrived at Marcus's home, accusing him of improper trash receptacle placement, creating a traffic hazard. The notice threatened a $50 daily fine if the alleged violation was not remedied within 72 hours, a directive not supported by any specific HOA bylaw. Recognizing the letter as a new form of harassment, Marcus began a meticulous investigation. He discovered that while the HOA could regulate property lines, their jurisdiction did not extend to the public right-of-way where the trash can was placed. Furthermore, city code explicitly required him to place the can within 3 feet of the curb on collection day. Drawing on his expertise in electrical troubleshooting, Marcus built a comprehensive defense. He installed a Ring doorbell camera to record her morning assaults, commissioned a professional survey to confirm his compliance with all city requirements, and secured a signed written statement from his neighbor, Mrs. Olivia, who bravely spoke out against Brenda. While Marcus was building his case, Brenda was attempting to control the public narrative. She used the Nextdoor app to portray Marcus as a reckless homeowner endangering children and forcing drivers into oncoming traffic. She even went so far as to file multiple fraudulent complaints with City Hall, each written in the same style and time-stamped just minutes apart in the middle of the night. At a tense board meeting attended by a record crowd of 12 homeowners, Marcus presented his airtight documentation. He read the city ordinance aloud and displayed his survey results, casually mentioning his consultation with Amanda Sterling, a property rights attorney. This effectively called their bluff. The board, led by a nervous President Thornfield, was forced to table the matter, admitting they needed further review and handing Marcus a temporary but significant victory. Following the meeting, Brenda confronted him in the parking lot, and the racist undertones of her comments confirmed to everyone listening that her actions were not about community standards, but about personal prejudice and control. Despite the setback at the board meeting, Brenda's harassment campaign continued unabated, shifting tactics to weaponize other more obscure HOA bylaws. Marcus began receiving a series of violation notices, one for his grass being a mere quarter-inch over the permitted height, another for his mailbox's unauthorized weathered navy color, and a third for 3 tiny tears in his window screens. Each violation carried a $50 fine. In response, Marcus spent a Saturday documenting similar or worse violations on 14 other properties, proving her pattern of selective enforcement. It was during this period that Marcus had a crucial conversation with Dale Kowalski, a concrete contractor he met at Home Depot. Dale confirmed that while city code specified the placement of trash containers, it had no restrictions on the materials used. This conversation gave Marcus an idea for his concrete fortress. He purchased 60 pounds of concrete mix and steel rebar, and over a weekend, built a trash can with a hollow bottom for weight distribution and drainage holes. From the outside, the can looked completely normal, but its interior was a steel-reinforced concrete core. Monday morning, Brenda made her usual approach. Instead of the familiar sound of shattering plastic, her Escalade collided with a solid thunk followed by the screech of metal. Her vehicle's running board bent like aluminum foil. While the can remained undamaged, she attempted the collision again from a different angle, with the same result. Over the next week, her repeated attempts left her pearl-white Escalade with an estimated $800 in damage, while the can showed only a few scuff marks. The neighborhood began to take notice. It was during this time that Patricia Lopez, a reasonable board member, pulled Marcus aside and revealed Brenda had been pushing for maintenance contracts with a company she didn't recognize. This tip prompted Marcus to begin a deeper financial investigation, suspecting that Brenda's power-hungry actions might be a cover for something far more profitable. Acting on Patricia Lopez's tip, Marcus began a new phase of his investigation, dedicating a Sunday evening to searching public records and municipal contract databases. What he found made his initial conflict with Brenda seem insignificant. He discovered that Brenda and her husband, Richard Whitmore, had formed Whitmore Construction, LLC just 6 months prior. The company had already been awarded 7 different HOA maintenance contracts by the board, totaling $23,400. Marcus meticulously documented how the company had underbid its competitors by a small margin, just enough to secure the contracts. He also found that Brenda had voted to approve every single one of those contracts. A blatant conflict of interest and a violation of state nonprofit corporation law. The timeline was damning. Her harassment campaign began just 12 days after Marcus first questioned the maintenance budget at a board meeting. His seemingly innocent inquiries had threatened her systematic fraudulent scheme. Marcus compiled all the evidence, business registration documents, HOA meeting minutes, contract award records, and bank deposit slips, and sent the file to his attorney, Amanda Sterling, for urgent review. Realizing the full scope of the corruption, Marcus knew this was no longer a personal feud. It was a fight for the community's integrity. He decided to build a coalition of allies. His core team included Mrs. Olivia, the witness to the initial harassment, Jim Torres, the community maintenance guy, Patricia Lopez, the board member who provided the critical tip, and Dale Kowalski, the contractor who helped him with his concrete fortress. Together they devised a multi-pronged strategy to expose Brenda from every angle: legal, social, political, and financial. The first step was a door-to-door campaign to gather support from neighbors. The response was overwhelming, with 89 signatures for property rights and 34 demands for a financial audit. Marcus prepared to take his evidence public, knowing the community was ready for accountability. As the date of the board meeting approached, Brenda's behavior became increasingly desperate and criminal. Marcus's upgraded security system captured every new offense. Her actions escalated from simple harassment to blatant illegal acts, including vandalizing his concrete trash can with orange spray paint and filing a series of anonymous, unfounded complaints with the gas company, falsely claiming he was conducting suspicious excavation. She even hired a private security company, Riverside Security for $200 a day to surveil his home. Marcus, now working with retired police detective Beth Morrison, documented these new offenses, which included stalking and harassment. The most damning piece of evidence was found by his son, Tyler, who discovered a professional-grade GPS tracker illegally attached to the undercarriage of Marcus's work truck. Marcus immediately took the device to the police station, where Officer Derek Martinez confirmed the case had moved into criminal territory. Simultaneously, Brenda filed a fraudulent $200 insurance claim with State Farm, claiming her Escalade's damage was from a road hazard. Marcus, however, provided the insurance investigator with his Ring camera footage, showing 57 documented intentional collisions. The investigator immediately denied her claim and referred the case to their fraud unit for a criminal investigation. Brenda made one final, desperate attempt at a cover-up by filing an emergency restraining order petition against Marcus based on fabricated evidence. The petition was so poorly constructed that Judge Patricia Williams dismissed it outright, warning Brenda about filing false evidence. On the eve of the showdown, her husband Richard Whitmore called Marcus, revealing they had already spent $8,000 on lawyers and repairs. He offered a settlement, but Marcus knew the legal and criminal consequences were now far beyond a simple check. The stage was set for the board meeting, where all her illegal actions would be exposed. The community center was at its maximum capacity, with 118 residents filling a space designed for 40. Outside, media representatives from 3 different news outlets, including Channel 7's investigative unit, set up their cameras. Marcus had strategically wheeled in his concrete trash can, placing it next to the podium as Exhibit A. The symbolism was clear. Brenda sat at the board table flanked by her attorney Harold Masterson, looking like a trapped animal. The room was silent except for the nervous hum of the cameras. Marcus began his presentation, stating that the issue was about accountability, transparency, and stopping corruption. He methodically walked the audience through a timeline of events, displaying his presentation boards with documentation of the 57 documented collisions, the illegal GPS tracker, and the fraudulent insurance claims. The real bombshell, however, was his financial presentation. Using a borrowed projector, he displayed the contract analysis that showed $47,000 funneled from community dues directly into Brenda's family business account. He announced that for months homeowners had been paying higher fees to fund Brenda's personal company, citing 7 violations of state nonprofit law. A video compilation played next, showcasing 12 minutes of her most destructive hits, set to the sounds of crunching plastic and scraping metal. The gasps and murmurs from the crowd provided a perfect soundtrack. Marcus delivered his final powerful accusation, turning to face Brenda directly. You've spent $3,400 on lawyers, destroyed your $60,000 vehicle, and committed insurance fraud over a $23 trash can. But the real crime is the $47,000 you've stolen from this community. Brenda's carefully constructed composure shattered. She stood up, screaming about harassment and property values, her voice laced with the same discriminatory undertones she'd shown before. Patricia Lopez seized the moment, making a motion for Brenda's immediate suspension. The vote was unanimous 4-0, with Brenda abstaining while being handcuffed by Officer Martinez, who had arrived with a warrant for insurance fraud and stalking charges. In the aftermath of the public confrontation, Brenda's world collapsed with remarkable speed. Within 48 hours, she submitted a 2-line resignation, citing a hostile work environment. By Thursday, the district attorney had filed insurance fraud charges, and by Friday, her insurance and contractor certifications were revoked. An emergency HOA audit, conducted by Patterson and Associates CPAs, recovered a staggering $47,000 in overcharges and questionable contracts, allowing every homeowner to receive a $370 refund check just in time for Christmas. Richard Whitmore, her husband, called Marcus to confirm the civil settlement check for $12,500 was in the mail, and that Brenda was moving to Florida. The community experienced a complete governance transformation. Patricia Lopez was unanimously elected board president, leading a new board that implemented strict financial and legal oversight. The case Holloway v. Pinewood Gardens HOA set a legal precedent and was cited in 12 subsequent property rights cases across Ohio, leading to the state legislature passing the HOA Accountability Act. The original collision videos have been viewed over 200,000 times, and the concrete trash can, now a neighborhood legend, sits in the community center lobby with a plaque. With the $12,500 settlement money, Marcus established the Marcus Holloway Property Rights Scholarship, which has already helped 4 students attend college. The scholarship prioritizes applicants who demonstrate creative problem-solving in the face of institutional opposition. The entire ordeal had a profound and positive impact on his family. His custody evaluation improved, with the judge noting that his children benefited from seeing their father stand up for principles. Emma's college application essay about the case earned her admission to 3 journalism programs, and Tyler started a YouTube channel called Suburban Justice. Marcus's electrical business expanded through referrals from grateful neighbors, proving that methodical problem-solving translates well from HOA disputes to complex wiring projects.